Hello, this is Avnish and Vedant from Grassroot Duo, and you're listening to Going Grassroot. Let's get started.
So hello everyone, we're back with another GG Quickie here after last night's Europa League final. This time we're going to. So hello everyone, we're back with another GG Quickie here after last night's Europa League final. This time we're going to talk about the Champions League final. And joining me is of course Avnish. And last time, as you know, he had a bit of trouble with his surroundings, but I hope this time everything is fine with that.
Yeah. I'm at home in my room, so probably won't get maybe some shouting from my parents or something, but not not any vehicles or dogs or something.
Yeah. So in this one, of course, we'll be talking about the Champions League final, which is tonight. But before that, let's just talk quickly about the Europa League final, which we discussed, of course, in the last quickie. And so, Avnish, as I said, Sevilla won. Not the same scoreline though, but they won eventually. So, how are you feeling after yet another of your predictions has gone wrong?
No, actually, if you think, I predicted Arsenal to win 2-1. Then I predicted Sevilla versus Inter Milan. You said Manchester United versus Inter would be the final, and I said Sevilla
Yeah.
versus Inter. Yeah, but talking about the game, it was a wow. I mean, we actually discussed that the game could have been a little cagey because of the defense, but it wasn't
Yes.
cagey. It was open game end to end, and it was fun to watch as a neutral. Always want an open game or a tactically open game, and there were some fights as well between Conte and Eva Banega. So it was a good game, but Sevilla, I think Sevilla played. I thought Inter Milan could have won because on paper they were the better squad, but Sevilla just did it, man. I mean, they deserved it.
Yeah, it was a game of headers, and like they were, I think four goals were scored through headers, right? I think three,
Yeah,
and yeah, and Sevilla actually conceded a penalty against Wolves, an early penalty, and they went on to win that game. Did the same against United and did the same against Inter Milan. So, pro tip: if you're playing Sevilla, do not go into the box and win a penalty in the first opening 20 minutes or something. You'll eventually lose the game. But yeah, talking about the game, I actually feel happy for the manager, or the Sevilla manager, Lopetegui, after what he had to go through in 2018. Like, he was sacked as a Spain manager because of the Madrid job, and then the Madrid job also didn't work out for him, and then he had to prove his worth again because everyone saw him as a failure, and he had to go under a lot of criticism, but he deserves that. And after the full time whistle, he broke into tears, and the emotions were quite visible. And yeah, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Banega. And but actually, Conte after the game said that he might not be the Inter manager for next season. He's considering his future, which I thought was not a good move on his part because the board has backed him. He has set up a new system there, and he actually has got every player that he asked for. And if in the end you're going to do something like this, then it's pretty. I mean, I don't know. Good managers don't usually do that. They stick by their team, but leaving like this is, I mean, shows mentality.
yeah. And talking about the Sevilla manager, it was his first big job and goes to show because in our main episode we talked about how managers and about Pochettino, how he should have won a trophy, and because if you want
Yes.
the big job, a job in a big club, people tend to see how many trophies he has won, but it was Lopetegui hadn't won a major trophy. I think in Portugal he did win a title, but uh, we all know what the scene with Portugal's league, but because he managed Porto, I think. So yeah, but after Real Madrid sacked him, I think it was a brave move from Sevilla to back him, and he did. I think even tactically, he didn't allow too much room for Lukaku and Martinez. And even though
Yeah,
struggled a bit against Ashley Young and the forwarding fullbacks, but Sevilla also had forwarding fullbacks, and Navas. I hadn't seen Navas that upfront because, like we said, that defensively, Sevilla are very stable and very it wasn't as if Sevilla was a inferior team or something. And yeah. Before going further, Conte, I mean, we all know that he's a fiery kind of person, and all Italian managers are, and we all get a kick out of them fighting in a press conferences or with the board, or whether it's Sarri with Chelsea or Juventus or Conte as well, or even Pellegrini or Mancini as well, again, when he was a City manager. So, but I think Conte this season has just been, um, according to the fans, he's been complaining a lot.
yes,
He criticized his own players, like we discussed. He said, the board is not giving me players I want. But if you want to leave, if a manager wants to leave, at least he has to wait till the I think some time has passed after the final. But this was a strong on his part.
yeah, and even for the players, like the players he has bought in, the players who joined Inter because of him, if he leaves, the next manager is going to have a big mess. And where if I mean, like, if you join a club for a manager and if he leaves, then you like sort of regret the decision. Like, for example, take Ashraf Hakimi. He joined Inter this season from Real Madrid, and for Conte, of course, because his system suits him more. And if Conte leaves and the next manager's system does not suit him, he will be like, why did I leave Real Madrid? You know, and I think we'll have to see what happens. Maybe it's just another heated comment made in the press after a defeat. He did not take that defeat well. I think he wanted to win it, but we'll see what happens. And now we'll talk about the big game tonight, Bayern versus PSG, the Champions League final, which is in Lisbon, of course, in Portugal. And in Lisbon, history will be made tonight, as either of the two teams who win it, PSG or Bayern, will achieve or will secure the European treble if they win the Champions League tonight. So I think it's a pretty historic game for both, because for PSG it will be the first
Yeah,
time in their history
would win
that they're winning the
quadruple.
treble. Yeah, Bayern have already done it in 2013, so this would be the second treble, but they'll join Barcelona in doing becoming the only team to win two trebles.
Yeah,
Uh,
PSG would win a quadruple, I think, because they've already won the domestic.
yeah, a quadruple. Yes, a quadruple for PSG. And for Bayern, it would be the second treble, and they would join Barcelona, because Barcelona right now the only team which has won two trebles. So they'll join Barcelona in doing so.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's a big game for the managers as well, Flick and Tuchel, because even they'll join an elite list of managers. Like, only five managers before them have secured the treble. Sir Alex, of course, Jose Mourinho, Pep Guardiola, Luis Enrique, and Jupp Heynckes. So I think even that's not a bad list.
yeah. And it sort of comes in an unexpected times for both teams. And for Bayern, the way their season starts, it feels like ages now when Nico Kovac was the manager, but that was this season, and they are on a verge of winning the, which is incredible. And that's what I'm saying, that maybe the fans also didn't expect, and this format has somewhat suited by why it was unexpected, because even we doubted the French teams because of their lack of match fitness, and the German, Spanish, and English, they all played more than about 10-15 games in their league. So but that we all thought that maybe the French team would struggle, but they have performed well, and PSG finally in this in like they have built this dream for about 10 years now, and they've reached it. Although uh,
Yeah.
the business says you invest in
Yeah,
pour in money, you can actually achieve what you want in football. But I think it has to go down. If they win the Champions League, it has to go down to good strategy because finally they are, and uh, if if they win Champions League, they're going to just go in down the history for I think have any other French teams won the Champions League except maybe Monaco somewhat?
no, no. Though there's only one French club which has won the Champions League, and it was Marseille in 1993. They beat AC
Yeah, yeah,
Milan back then. So PSG can equal that.
yeah. And let's talk about Bayern for a moment. Do you think they are favorites to win against PSG because they've been here for 5 times and they've won it 5 times, and now they could the sixth time they could join Liverpool up there and get past Barcelona. I think Barcelona also has five Champions League.
Yes, yes, they have five.
So yeah, so do you think they are the favorites today?
Yeah, we'll talking about Bayern. I mean, we've all seen how ruthless they are this season. I mean, the entire team's chemistry and balance is just right at the moment. I mean, you put any of the players on the bench, in their starting 11 for any game, and they would win. They would win the game. The players would do their job. I mean, you take out Goretzka, you put Coutinho in, or you take out Gnabry, you put Coman in. It's not like it's going to affect their performance. The players know their job, the chemistry and everything is like the team is on fire at the moment. And I mean, they look really scary and they look like they can beat any team at the world in the moment. They have a solid defense. Their midfield is very balanced, and we all know how devastating that front three of Lewandowski, Gnabry, and Koeman or Perisic, add anyone there, and how devastating it is. So from Bayern's point of view, I think they are the favorites to win it because, as you said earlier, the French league did not resume, and Bayern had the advantage of uh, playing a few extra games. But yeah, and I think that plays in their favor a bit, and the fact that they have beaten Barcelona, they've beaten Chelsea, they've beaten Tottenham. I think Bayern would be the favorites on paper. But talking about PSG again, uh, in the round of 16, they came back from a defeat in the first leg against Dortmund. They knocked them out, and in the quarterfinal against Atlanta, also they came back in the final minutes, like they were a goal down for majority of the game, but then they came back. Against Leipzig, the performance was a bit authoritative from them, and of course their midfield and attack is also as exciting as Bayern's, I would say. Their front three, Mbappe, Neymar, and Di Maria, is as good as Bayern, and even the midfield. But I think it's the defense where PSG lack when they come head to head against Bayern because even Thiago Silva at centre back, yeah, as good as he is quite old now, and I mean if you put him against how good Alaba has been this season, he has not been. I mean, yeah, he's a good defender, but he's not been at that level. And the PSG play Kehrer at right back, who is not an actual right back, he's a centre back playing there. And even at left back, Juan Bernat against Alfonso Davies, I mean, there's only one winner there. So, I mean, both the teams have their momentum, but PSG have had an easy route till the final now as compared to Bayern. So I would say that Bayern might be the favorites, but if PSG have to win the Champions League, they have to beat the best. And right now, Bayern are the best at the moment. So if PSG win it, you can't say that they don't deserve it because they did beat Bayern in the final.
Um, yeah, so you touched upon two crucial points here, and I would like to talk about them. The first one is that about the route to the final. Yes, we can agree that Bayern has had a little bit more tougher fixtures than PSG. But I think PSG showed their resilience against Atlanta because that was the tougher challenge coming on after just playing one final against Lyon. couple of friendlies against Marseille. I think they had a friendly, and coming on to play such a high stake game. I think that was the real test for them. That if they get past that, probably they have a good chance of ending up in the final, and they showed it. I think even against Leipzig. And the second point you said is that the attack in midfield has never been a problem for PSG. And again, you said that even Bayern have the world class attack midfield and even defense. But I still kind of see the weak link here in Jerome Boateng. Like he hasn't been bad this season. As people predicted, people thought Boateng was coming to Arsenal the start of the season because his time was done in Bayern. But when you saw, I think Suarez, like he got
Yeah.
past him to score that goal. I think that is the weak link maybe I see, and both the teams now have to just stop and think how to stop. Bayern might think how to stop Mbappe Neymar duo, and stop them from creating all these chances. And PSG have to think about how to stop Lewandowski, Muller, and that front three. I think the defense might, like we said that about Sevilla and Inter, that it's going to be cagey, and this game we might predict that might be more open than what is presumed. But I think the is defense might win the Champions League tonight. So yeah,
Yeah,
and
but like you talked about Boateng and him being the weak link, but if you see the scenario, Bayern's main defenders have actually been injured for the most part of the season, like Nicolas Sula and Lucas Hernandez, and even I think Benjamin Pavard plays the centre back role. So the manager has to make do with Alaba there, and even Boateng who's quite old. And if the other defenders were fit, I don't think Boateng would be playing actually in their starting 11. But despite all those injuries, they still are such a strong team, and that's why if you compare it with PSG's defense, they have all of their defenders available. So like if you compare it, I think Bayern's is more better. But of course, as we all know, how wrong we go with our predictions, it might end up being an nil game tonight, and might be decided on penalties. But of course, let's just talk about both the team's main players for a bit before we go and predict our scores. Who will be playing tonight for each team? For Lewandowski, of course. For Bayern, of course, it's going to be Lewandowski, and for PSG, it will be Neymar. So let's just talk about them for a bit.
yeah, so Lewandowski, I would like to mention that if he scores two goals, he might equal Ronaldo for the most goals in a single Champions League season. He's on 15, I think, and Ronaldo has 17 goals. That was a wonderful
Yeah.
season. And Lewandowski can do it. And that goes to show again, we talked about how he deserves this Ballon d'Or. And if he wins the
Yeah.
Champions League, the fans, it's our duty to tell the few generations that this year Lewandowski did win the Ballon d'Or. It's just there was no ceremony, but he did win it. So yeah, but again, it's a huge pressure on him. But I think he would thrive. He's a kind of attacker, and he's been in such a good form that you don't quite know where the goal would come from. Whether it's a header or a snack or a just tap in, and that's why he's everywhere in that, and every opportunity where he gets the ball, you might think that could lead to a goal. And yeah, I think former Arsenal player Serge Gnabry has also, like we talk about how Lewandowski is the light of Bayern, but I think those wingers really, even Coman, Gnabry, and even Muller, they have the they have the duty now to give that and to create those chances against PSG. And I think the chances might come plenty if PSG are not that careful at the back. It's just a matter of time where Bayern score. And talking about Neymar, I think well, this is his moment. He left Barcelona for this. He left Barcelona to win another Champions League, and this is his moment. And if we all know that Neymar singularly, he doesn't have that power to take that PSG side. He needs Mbappe to really create because Bayern's defense is if they apply the same tactics, if they have that high line, I think Mbappe and Neymar have a good chance of breaking that. It's
Yes.
not going to make same mistakes as what Barcelona did because Barcelona could have scored more goals if they were defending good and they had the legs. I think PSG have those legs. If they get past that high line, I think it again PSG could break that defense and score. So it's upon Neymar as well that how he and he can't miss those chances. He's missed open and silly chances in the last in semi-final and in the quarter-final as well. Though PSG did win it and because of his assist as well, but I think he can't miss. And the last point that like Muller and Gnabry, I think Di Maria is also quite very important for PSG because he has to
Yes.
then throw over those long balls or through balls for Mbappe and Neymar. So yeah, I think it's proposing a great match today. So yeah, so what do you think now about the players as well? Like I talked
Yeah.
about,
So
yeah,
yeah, so talking about Lewandowski, of course, we have discussed his Ballon d'Or thing, and 55 goals he has this season, 15 in the Champions League. And as you said, to break Ronaldo's, like to match him, he would have to score two. But to break his record, he'll have to become the first ever player to score a hat trick in the Champions League final, and that's going to be interesting to see, like whether the Bayern team are, going to play according to him, like for him to score a hat trick, or how it's going to be. So yeah, apart from that, Lewandowski, of course, has been brilliant, and you can expect at least one goal from him tonight. I can assure you that. And if he does break Ronaldo's record and score that hat trick and Bayern win the UCL because of him, I think they would have to thank the volcano in Iceland because its eruption had caused the flight issues for Lewandowski's flight, which was scheduled to travel to Blackburn. I mean, he was going to move there, but due to that volcano erupting, his flight could not travel, and that move did not happen. And that's why all of that has led up to this one moment. And yeah, so I think the butterfly effect has come into play. Yeah. But talk about Neymar then. He's been injured in the past two seasons in the UCL for PSG, and we saw how they lost to United last season and how miserable their defeat was in the season earlier as well. So because of his injuries, his team has suffered. But as you said, this is his moment, and this could be probably be his season for which he left Barcelona, because he has been in the mood for this entire season. As you've seen how amazing he's performed against Atlanta, Leipzig, even against Dortmund, and in the league as well. He's produced some quality performances, and he loves playing Bayern as well. He has scored 4 goals in the last 4 games against them. So let's see which player prevails tonight. But just one question before we move to the end. If he wins the UCL and wins the treble with PSG, he will of course win the treble with two teams then. But winning the UCL before Barcelona even reaching the semi-finals, uh, sorry, I think the finals, yeah, the finals before Neymar, would you call his move to PSG a success then?
yeah. So this is an interesting question. Given the fact that how Barcelona have gone down, I would say that it's a success because trophy-wise, yes, the chances you've gotten to increase his stats is again great because the League One offers little competition to PSG,
Yes,
and if he wins the Champions League. I think if he wins, if he doesn't win the Champions League, I still might say that maybe. But again, we have to think about it that way that he set out to PSG to make his own identity because at that time Ronaldo and Messi were uh, like no challenge at all for the legacy. Now we are seeing like Haaland and Mbappe and all these young players coming up and giving competition to Messi and Ronaldo. But at that time, no one was like that. And Neymar moving to PSG just showed his ambition that he wanted to become that third player too there, but it didn't pan out the way he wanted to. But this is the season might be that people might say that that was a success, and I think it will be.
Yeah, and I think if he does that, it's time to stop criticizing him and appreciating him for his greatness. Because let's be honest, after Messi and Ronaldo, he's the only one that comes close to them in this era, of course. So I think we'll have to see, we'll have to wait and watch for that. But
Yeah.
yeah, so let's move on to the predictions.
Hard, so now to the hard part of predicting. But I'm not going to go first because I still have to think. It's very hard. You go first.
Okay. So, like, since you're thinking, I'd just give it some sort of a conclusion for both teams. Yeah, if PSG do win tonight, it will be the first Champions League. And we talked about how Marseille is the only team to have won, the only French club to have won the Champions League. So I think PSG have spent over 1 billion pounds in the last 9 years or something. So it's about time that they win. And I mean, if they don't win tonight, I think they should just delete the club because it's high time that they do. And I think a win tonight would be a fitting farewell for Thiago Silva as well, who's going to leave after this season. And well, Bayern on the other hand have a better history. They won it 5 times, but winning tonight would mean that they're the third team with the most titles behind Barcelona, behind Real Madrid and AC Milan. And another interesting fact, if they win the game in 90 minutes tonight, they would become the first team to win the competition with a 100% record, with winning all the games. And if they win in extra time or penalties, then they would join Manchester United's 2018 because they had done the same. So yeah, so now with the predictions, I think it's going to finish 3-3 between PSG and Bayern, and PSG will win in penalties courtesy of Keylor Navas in goal. And the man of the match, of course, will be Neymar. So yeah, I think you should go now.
Okay, so that is a wow. That's a great prediction. I think well, it's hard, isn't it? Because like we talked about the defense as well, and it's I'm toying between like a 3-3-4-3 game or a KG last minute 1-0 game because it has to be one of them. So I
Yeah.
think they would go into the game expecting goals to be scored because they all know that you can't go defensive in these games, especially when your opponent has that kind of
Yeah,
attack.
no, but like you mentioned, Bayern playing the high line, they played it against Lyon, and we saw how Lyon were exploiting it in the match. Like in the first half, they had a lot of chances to score, even against Barcelona. So I think he would avoid playing a high line against PSG because we all know how ruthless their attack is. So I think Bayern might focus a bit on the defensive side, not play that high line tonight.
Yeah, yeah. So let's go 2-2 for me. And Bayern win at extra time, scoring the last about second half goal, and they win 3-2. Oh, man of the match for me. Wow, with all these stars, I think I would go for Thomas Muller.
Okay. Yes,
Yeah,
that's quite a detailed prediction. So we'll see what happens, and we'll see who to roast tomorrow based on this prediction. So yeah,
yeah. And to, before ending, we think a lot about these games, and maybe we are sometimes wrong. But I just want to tell all those people who just predict for fun and get it right. You don't deserve that. Okay, so as I say, yeah, I'm the genius. I predicted it. at all. So I just don't. You please don't tell me if you're right. Keep it to yourself. Yeah. So let's meet after the game and let's see who wins. Thank you for listening.
Yes.
Subscribe to us and go follow us on Spotify to listen to our full coverage of other football related things. And if you want to join us in our podcast, please message us, DM us on Instagram and Twitter. The handle is Grassroot Duo. So yeah, goodbye. Sir.